Hello ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Andy, aka Elogee, aka Elogee. I'm here today for a very exciting video. This is a Magic the Gathering deck tech video, and this is my first actual attempt at a competitive deck for Modern. A lot of my previous deck tech videos for Modern have been with decks that aren't really competitive, not really viable. After seeing what the Modern Horizons sets have done to the format, I can see that the deck tech videos I've done of my Modern decks in the past have not been up to snuff with, the rest of the competitive format. But I finally broke down, made my first somewhat competitive Modern deck. And as you can see by the title, this is actually Gruul Ponza, which isn't like a top tier strategy or anything, but I've heard other sources say it's still playable, not the most viable, but definitely playable. I think it's good. So, I made my first Modern competitive deck, and I'm ready to show it. So, as I mentioned, this is Gruul. I have got 6 basic mountains. I thought about actually swapping some of these out for pathways. Swap out 2 mountains, 2 forests for 2 of each pathway, but I do have quite a few sources in here that ramp out basics, so I do want a fair amount of cards that I can search. Also have 6 forest as well. I still probably could get away with swapping these out for a playset of pathways. Just take out 2 of each, put in some pathways, and I think the deck might be a little better, so probably going to consider that. Anyway, I finally got my first playset of Gruul Fetchlands, nice wooded foothills. This cost a pretty penny, but well worth it as a introductory card to the format. I can tutor up any of those lands, as well as these shock lands, 4 stomping grounds. I had to go with this art because it looks the best in my opinion. But yep, nothing else really needs to be said there. And the whole pile's just gonna fall. And then finally, 4 Karplusan Forest. Bro, look at this artwork. This looks gorgeous. Like, it doesn't even fit with the rest of the lands. It looks so polished and clean and new. But yeah, 24 lands, pretty much evenly split between mountains and forests, and we will be needing a lot of both. So multiple cards in here require multiple pips. So again, still thinking about putting in them pathways. By the end of the video, I might figure it out. But for the time being, let's begin with creatures, shall we? I think I actually organized this mana-wise. So let's begin with 1-drop, shall we? We got playset of Arboreal Grazer. This is my mana dork of choice. It doesn't ramp you in a traditional sense like Birds of Paradise or Noble Hierarch or any of that, but I figured those just die to Lightning Bolt, so this at least guarantees you the ability to ramp and play a 2-drop on turn 3 if you draw it early game. If you do not draw it early game, I also have this. Speaking of Lightning Bolt, I've read this is like the most played card in the format, which I wouldn't doubt because it's pretty good. Lightning Bolt, pretty good. Top 10 Elogee quote 2022. Anyway, yeah, Bolt. Nice for sniping Ragavans, or I don't know what else is in the format that you need to hit with Lightning Bolt, but it's also a very nice way to burn the opponent if it comes to that. And that's it for my 1 mana spells. Now here I got a kind of unconventional one for Modern. Got 4 copies of Bloodthirsty Adversary. This is what I use to rebuy my spells. Like my Lightning Bolts, spells like Rampant Growth that ramp me. 3 lands is what I need to actually really start playing the game. Not necessarily so I don't need 4 copies, but if I have nothing else to do turn 2, then ramping me so I can play the game turn 3 will be important. So there's 2 targets for Bloodthirsty Adversary. I don't know if I even explained this. When it's a 2/2 with haste, and when it ETBs you can pay 3 mana any number of times, and for every amount of times you pay that 3 additional mana, you can cast a spell, an instant or sorcery with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard, and then exile it. We already have these as examples here. Rampant Growth can help ramp me again. Lightning Bolt can destroy creatures or burn the opponent again, but I think y'all know why we're here. We got Pillage. This is the main target for a Bloodthirsty Adversary. Fun fact, I did not know Pillage existed, and this was originally Stone Rain, and when I found out Pillage existed, I thought, wow, I'm an idiot. But, yeah, Pillage, very nice card. First of many 2-pip colors, so we really gotta do our land base right in order to get this out turn 3, potentially turn 2 even. So this is the main, like, probably most important card of the deck. And being able to rebuy it with Bloodthirsty Adversary is going to be important. So there's that. I also have Topiary Stomper as a playset in the deck. This is a 3-drop double pip green mana. When it ETBs, ramp a basic land into play. It's 4/4 with Vigilance, but can't attack or block until you have 7 lands on board. So what this deck and what Ponza in general tries to do is ramp yourself while denying your opponent of mana, just so your cards continuously outclass them and just, you know, facilitate value that way into a win. And so far that's what we're trying to do. I have 3 copies of Chandra, a Torch of Defiance as a 4-drop. Very nice card, lets you dig for cards, destroy creatures with 4 toughness or less, and most importantly, probably, is the ability to ramp you. Yeah, Chandra is just an all-around great card. I don't think that's come as a surprise to anybody, but had to include it. And then we get Monfoli Acid Moss, boys. For some reason, I thought this was 5 mana when I put the deck together, and I'm like, oh, that's not very good. Then when I was looking at the deck again, I was like, wait, that's 4 mana, bro. That's incredible. Like, I've been playing Land Destruction on Arena, and the best comparison for a 4 mana green spell to destroy a land is Creeping Mold, and this is just miles better than that, sort of. Creeping Mold, I guess, can target other sources, but this lets you destroy and ramp at the same time, which is exactly what the deck wants to be doing. Probably the most perfect card in the deck for what we want to be doing, aside from the fact that it cannot be rebought with Bloodthirsty Adversary, which is a huge downside, but it's so powerful by itself that I had to include it. We're almost done with the deck tech, actually. In the penultimate spot here, I got 4 copies of Elder Gargaroth, which is a personal staple of mine. I just throw this in pretty much every deck I ever make, because I'm just hard carried by Garg. So good. Being able to draw, stabilize, gain life, create bodies, it's so good. The trample, the reach, vigilance, yeah, Garg is good. It's actually a pseudo Ponza staple also, which while researching if Garg was even viable in Modern, it actually directed me to Ponza, which is the only place Garg accumulated any kind of merit in the format. So if there's any place Garg can thrive in Modern, it's in Ponza, and if that's the case, that's the direction I'm going for competitive Modern. So I think it fits in this deck exceptionally well. And a couple more cards to end the deck. I got some Shivan Devastator, new mythic from Dominaria United, just as a nice hasty closer. X and red enters with X, 1/1 counters, flying and haste. It's pretty fair, reasonable card, nothing crazy, but could be a very nice finisher. And yeah, that is the deck. I have not played with it yet, but I really like the way this build looks, and I'm very excited to play it when I'm able to play it. I'm so excited that I would play it on Magic Online, but I don't really know how to navigate that client very well. So yeah, I really like the way this deck looks. I don't know how viable it is, but I'm very excited to find out. So let me know what you guys think. If this deck seems like it could hold a candle to the blazing fast Modern format, or if it would just get run over turn 2 like everything else. But I like the deck, so I wanted to showcase it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more Magic content. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day, guys.